Welcome to the tutorial. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to use the floor tool to do grating. Now normally the floor tool is used for laying down slabs, and of course the profiles for the slabs are obtained by going to the profile catalog. Now what we've done here is, before we started, is we created some profiles that were standard widths of gratings, starting with 1.25 inch grating and various widths. And what we did is we used the widths that are normally found based on bearing bar spaces, so you have to adhere to that. You don't need to have all of these grating profiles in here in order to do the job, but certainly you would have the ones that you're going to be creating. Now we'll always start with the widest one, and of course that would be this one, the 35 and 13/16 wide. And of course you can name these profiles any way you like. This happens to be one that I have for my example. The way, of course, that you would make these is you'd have to go to your profile catalog under modeling first, go to profiles, go to the profile catalog, and either import these manually yourself in under here. As you can see, that's where they ended up, or import the LIS file that's available with this tutorial, and you can just import the ones then and use them right away. Okay, so to begin with, we would first of all go to our catalog like so, grab our grating profile, which I've already done here, place a name grating in here, get in the material. That's probably, something like A36 or whatever it happens to be. Give it a class number and a prefix and a start number. Then over here you would want to put 1/4 inch gap, and make sure you put the vertical location at the bottom of the plate. And then what you do after you get all this set up, there's nothing that you need to do in here because this is all for concrete. You just create an attribute called grating, like so, and save it, because you're going to want to use this many times. Okay, to begin with, the way this works, this floor tool, is you start out on your floor and you're going to just basically lay out a polygon here to lay out the shape of the floor. And the joy of this little tool is that it will break up your grating into panels. Okay, so I'll just begin. It's telling me down here at the bottom of my screen to pick polygon points, and of course the slab direction or grating direction will be the first and second point. So I'm going to start in this corner over here, and I'm going to go to the outside corner with my grating, and I've put posts in here just to show you how to cut the grating once we've made it. So I'll just go to these corner points here and lay out my polygon. I've got a channel here. It's on an angle, and there are marks that are here from a previous demo that I did, so I'm just following those marks, and go to all these corners here, and then finally at the end we close the polygon by clicking on the last point. And you get this little illegal error. That's fine, just ignore it, because we're not doing precast concrete. So it lays out your grating in nice, neat little panels, and tries to use the wide ones wherever possible. In this case it used the widest one starting at that end, and worked its way all the way through. I could have started over on the other side and perhaps ended up with a slightly different pattern. You'd have to try it to find out which way works best. This last panel here would of course have to be measured, and then you'd have to lay in an actual grating panel that meets that width, at least as close as you can get to it. Okay, so now that we've got our grating laid out, there's a couple of things that we would need to do. Now I've saved some favorite little tools up here, and this one here seems to be a fairly nice one for handling cutouts. So I'm going to show you how to use that one. And I'll just open this up here, and I've already made it. There's two options here. One is to just use a straight 1/2 inch gap all the way around, and the other one is to use a 3 inch offset here and a 1/2 inch gap here and here. Now the reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to use it for the handrails. and I need this extra 3 inches so that it will cut it out beyond the pipe. So all you do with this component is you click the part to be cut and the reference part here. And this works with basically any kind of object, and these ones are nicely working out. You don't have to worry about the direction of the cone, so you just go and start kicking these things in here all the way around. And one there. This one you'll have to do it for each piece of grating. And here's one here. And it really doesn't take very long once you get going on a, this is just a small little platform, but I mean if you had a really large floor area, you could still do them pretty quickly. Now when you get down to where the column is, you're going to want to use the same tool here, but you're going to make an adjustment with this number here so that you can go around this moment connection here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out just by using that one. I'll kick it in here and here, and as you can see I need to make further adjustments, so I'll go to say 7 inches and see what I get. Oops. Click on the cone for it. Got to find it again. Okay, I'll click on that. That'll get it. And okay, and maybe need to go 8 inches. And of course you can measure to find out exactly what you need. Okay, so let's just say that that's what I needed. Okay, so now of course, as you can see, there's a piece of grating here that could never be erected. So what we have to do with this one is we're going to split it. So we'll just use the splitting command here, and we'll cut it in half. So go up to Edit, Split. But before I do that, I'm going to locate a point here. See, I need that little point there from this beam here, which is on the center of the column, so I can find a place to nicely split that piece. Okay, so now I've got it located. I can hit Split, pick the part to be split, and then just click on that little spot right there. If I can grab that, I hope. And just see if I can grab there. Okay, and did that split it or not? It doesn't look like it did. Let's try again. And okay, split. Oh, I see. I didn't have single part selected there, and then there. And now I have a split here. Of course, what we would do is I would take this handle here and I would move it in the, let me see what direction we would move that in. Probably that is going to be in the -y direction. So I would move that in the -y. So -1/8, like so. And then on this one, I would move its point +1/8. And there I have my 1/4 inch gap. Now, one final thing, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail here, is sometimes you're going to need banding. And what I've done here with my beam tool here is I've created a little option here called banding. And I'm going to load the banding. It's all set up positionally to work properly. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to show you just how to apply it to, say, this edge here. Okay, so we've got our banding tool here, which is basically just a beam, and I'm going to go from here to here, and it lays the banding on. Of course, you do that wherever you need it, and then you go and you grab your welding tool here, and you have to weld this banding, of course, onto the grating. Okay, so we click that there, and then we can check with this tool here whether we have a complete assembly, which you can see that we do. Now I'll have another video that will show you how to make the drawings for this and what they look like, and how to put the span designation on it. But before I finish off, I'll just show you that there is a tool here called Surface, which will allow you to put a pattern, a grating pattern on top of this if you need to. I really generally don't do this for drawings because it can be a little confusing sometimes. The pattern shows up in the drawing and can be a little confusing because the bearing bars in the grating pattern are not to scale. So the shop might think that they are to scale and start cutting according to what they see. So that's why I don't use them. However, sometimes in the model it's nice to have them for show and tell. So if you do need to have it, basically you just apply the surface, make sure the surface is thin, 1/16 of an inch, and you just hit apply here, and then it's basically going to ask you for to pick an origin. By the way, make sure you have single parts turned on here. So I'll pick an origin there to get the direction of the pattern, and then it's just a matter of picking the surfaces. And for whatever reason I'm not able to get this pattern to work on this one here, but rest assured, there goes one right there. Okay, I'm not sure why the other ones weren't working, but it's just my computer, I think. Anyway, that's basically it, and so now I have a nice looking grating there, even with the cutouts and all that. And so the other lesson will deal with how to convert this stuff into drawings. Thanks for your attention.